Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Celeste Any Percent tutorial. And in this episode, I'm going to be going over Golden Ridge. You're going to start right here, and if you want, you can just jump and dash forward to land on the cloud. But you can actually, if you do a very quick dash jump, you can land on the cloud from there. Just make sure you don't jump too late, or else you'll bump into this corner right here. So you're going to just want to press jump as soon as possible. And you'll pretty much always land on the cloud as long as you get full jump height. And then you can do a full jump from that cloud and then dash forward to this platform. Or you can do a dash jump from this cloud to land right on here. It's a little hard to time, but you want to jump at the same time that you would normally jump. But you also want to dash right before you jump. So you should practice the timing for doing dash jumps off these clouds, because there are a few situations where you're going to be using these as well. So regardless of whether you dash forward or dash jump off the cloud, you're going to land here, and you can either dash forward or hyper to this next cloud. And if you hyper, you gotta be a little careful because you can slide off the cloud and die like that. So you need to make sure to kind of cancel out the momentum of your hyper before you jump. So if you want to be a little safer, you can just dash forward. It's not much slower at all. But you want to get full jump height from the second cloud and then dash diagonally to here. And then you want to hyper into the next room and then be ready to bunny hop. So you bunny hop and then dash forward into the bubble. And you can also, if you hyper into this room, you can also start with an extended hyper. Like that, which might be ever so slightly faster, but you need to make sure that you dash diagonally soon enough so you don't overshoot the bubble. When you come out of this bubble, you can just dash straight up and then land on this platform. What you can also do is you can dash diagonally after exiting the bubble, and you'll land right on the platform instead of having to fall back down to it. So like that, and you'll notice I didn't quite go as high because I dashed diagonally, but I still land on the platform. So you can remove some of the weight from falling if you dash diagonally. Just make sure you get full height out of the bubble, so you don't want to cancel the bubble's momentum with the dash. You want it to carry you up a little bit, or else you won't make it quite high enough and you'll have to hop up. But regardless of which of those you can do, and I also think you can do like a wall boost out of the bubble to get back up, like that. And if you get the correct height out of the wall boost, you'll get similar results. But from here, you just want to dash jump to the next bubble. There aren't really any other options. And then you want to do 2 diagonal dashes to land here. And then it's a hyper. And you want to make it a long hyper, so a long hyper from here, so you can then hyper or wave dash off this second platform, and then you want to bunny hop off the one in front. And after the bunny hop, you're going to want to either jump and then dash diagonally like that, or you want to jump and dash forward. And dashing diagonally will land you on this platform, dashing forward will cause you to fall down here. And the option that you choose, and you can also, after the bunny hop, you can dash, if you time to dash right, you can dash diagonally through this gap instead of having to climb this wall at all. And that'll also land you on this platform. And depending on whether or not you land here or fall here, depends on which strat you want to do next. So if you land here, you can do a reverse hyper ultra to that like piece of raised ground in the water right there, like that. And that's the fastest way to do it if you can get this ultra consistently, like that. And another method, which is barely slower, is when you dash forward. When you land in here, you want to dash forward to here, and then you'll notice when you reach this platform, you'll kind of bob up like that, and that'll give you the height you need to then wave dash off the platform. And then, regardless of which strat you do, I think, so with the ultra, you can pretty much make it all the way to the end if you get enough speed. But if you do the hyper, you're going to want to bunny hop once in the water, and you can do a water boost here if you want. It doesn't make too much of a difference. But pretty much after you land like right here, you'll want to jump into this cutscene so that you're in midair when you skip the cutscene. And that allows you to just exit the cutscene with a little extra height so you don't have to jump afterwards. So if I do that, then the moment you skip the cutscene, you can dash up here. If you're on the ground when you skip the cutscene, you're going to have to jump and then dash up here. So like jump straight up, because you want to land on the left side of this platform so you can do an extended hyper. Because what you're going to do right here you're going to extended hyper from here, or you can wave dash if you're not quite far enough to the left. But you can extended hyper or wave dash off of here, and then you want to ultra to that raised platform in front of me, like that. And then if you get enough speed from the ultra, you can do another ultra the moment this transition ends. You'll be high enough to do another ultra, and that'll pretty much get you to the wall at the end of the room. And if you ultra a little too soon, you can hit that corner right there. But essentially, after doing the second ultra, you're going to want to dash forward and grab this corner. And if you're high enough, you can do a corner boost off here. And if you have enough speed from the 2 ultras, you'll pretty much be able to catapult yourself like over all of this to do like a corner boost. But if you don't get enough distance from that catapult, you'll hit that spike down to the right of me on that small piece of ground right there. And if you don't go far enough from the corner boost, you'll bump into this wall. So what you need to do from the corner boost is get just the right amount of height to actually brush against this platform here so that you have a dash again. And that way you'll be able to dash forward to evade those spikes. But it's a really hard corner boost to do. I can't do it. You can see some top runners doing the corner boost because it is the fastest way. But what I do is I just dash to this and I don't corner boost, so I make sure I don't jump the first frame possible or else I will corner boost. But I just step up onto this platform. So I'll show you the ultra again just to show like all the ultras in motion. And sometimes you won't get enough speed from the ultras to make it to the wall, in which case you're going to want to do a hyper dash in this room. But like I just did the ultras right there, and you can get them consistently if you practice. You want to do either a dash jump off of here and then land on that platform and then like hop off it. Just make sure you don't brush up against that wall like I just did, or you can do an extended dash jump from here. And if you just step up from here instead of jumping from here, you'll be at pretty much the exact position you need to dash jump over all of this. And after you go over this, you want to dash forward. And if you dash forward at the right time, so if you're high up enough and forward enough, you'll be able to land right on the left side of this platform. Otherwise, you might have to grab this corner and just step up. So just be ready to grab the corner just in case. But you're going to want to hyper from here. And when you hyper into here, if you do a short hyper, you can bunny hop off the start of the room and then dash forward into the bubble. Otherwise, if you go too far, you can just kind of land and then dash diagonally into the bubble. And there are 2 different strats, or a few different strats actually, but 2 main strats. One is to use all the bubbles in the room. So you take this bubble, and breaking the first wall gives you the correct amount of height needed just to dash forward into the second bubble. So you basically just want to keep dashing forward, activating the bubbles as soon as possible, dashing forward to the bubbles right after breaking the walls. So pretty much want to buffer all those dashes. And after you break the second wall, you can either move forward a little and then dash down right to the next bubble, because if you dash down right immediately, you won't reach the next bubble. Or you can dash forward immediately and then fast fall to the bubble. And I think dashing forward and then fast falling is a little faster because you don't have to delay your dash at all. So just dash forward and then fast fall to this bubble. And then pretty much you just want to do a whole bunch of right dashes. And you're going to want to try to buffer as many dashes as possible. And then you want to dash diagonally out of the last bubble. An alternative strat skips this first bubble and this first wall. And essentially you want to extended hyper off of pretty much where you respawn, maybe a little further to the right. But you want to extended hyper, or if you're coming in from the previous room, you want to wave dash to get your dash back. And then you want to dash diagonally into the second wall. And then if you get enough height, you can destroying the wall will bounce you into the second bubble. Like that. And then you do the rest of the strat from there. And if you don't quite reach the bubble from breaking that wall, you're going to want to wall jump off the first wall because that wall won't be broken. Or if you dash diagonally a little too soon, you'll end up grabbing that wall instead of breaking it, in which case you just want to wall jump to the bubble. So there are a lot of ways it can go wrong, but skipping this first bubble and first wall actually does save a fair amount of time if you can do it consistently. And then there's an even harder variant of the strat where you actually dash upright into the bottom of the second wall, and that'll break the wall and you'll kind of just go right through it, and then you could actually make it to the third bubble and skip the second bubble completely. Or like that. And it's both of those strats, both of the strats where you skip at least one of the walls, are much easier to do on respawning than they are from the entry, because from the entry you have some pre-existing momentum. You have to wave dash instead of doing a hyper dash, and you won't be in the exact same position every time. So you're gonna have to practice those strats from the entry instead of respawning, and they can be pretty tough. So you can pick whichever strat you can do consistently, but pretty much the second half of this room is the same regardless of which strat you use. You just want to break all these walls as fast as possible and take these bubbles as fast as possible, and then you want to go upright from this last bubble. You can also go upright from the second bubble and dash forward, but they're pretty much the exact same. Just pick one. And then you want to do a very short hyper from here, or actually if you're coming out of the bubble, it'll be a wave dash. But you want to do a wave dash into the next room and then be ready to do a very high bunny hop. So you want to make this a short hyper, and then you want to bunny hop at the very start of the next room. And bunny hopping will get you over these spikes here. And from pretty much where I am right now, you want to dash down right to land on that pink cloud, and then just bunny hop off of the cloud. And that you should, by bunny hopping off of the cloud, it's sort of like an ultra, but not quite as fast as an ultra. You should be able to get enough distance to then wall boost off this wall right here. And you can either wall boost off the corner a little further to the left, or off the rightmost edge of the wall, but you want to land on this platform right here and then immediately hyper off it. If you don't get enough height from the wall boost, you might have to grab the left side of the block and then step up before you hyper off of it. But if you do grab the left side of it, just be sure to step up as quickly as possible, because you will have enough time if you're fast to climb up onto the block and then hyper off of it. But you want to hyper from here and then do another hyper to the next room. So you hyper from there, and then you want to do another hyper from here and then be ready to bunny hop in the next room. So bunny hop, you can wave dash off of here, so off the first moving platform, and then dash diagonally and then hop up here. You can also dash forward. Instead of after the bunny hop, you can dash forward to that moving platform and then extended hyper off of it, which is slightly faster, but you need to make sure that you land on the left side of that platform so you can extended hyper off of it as well. So doing the bunny hop and then wave dash is a little safer. And then you want to just jump from here and then either dash jump or wave dash off this little platform here. So if you dash jump, you'll be able to get enough height starting this room to just go then just bunny hop off this platform, like right here, and then you can do the rest of the room. And if you wave dash off of here, you have to corner boost in order to clear this platform here. So I don't know what just happened there, actually. I think I corner boosted. So you want to corner boost like that if you do the wave dash. And doing the wave dash and corner boost is a little faster. So if you can do it consistently, do it. But when you get here, you want to either like do 2 up jumps, or slightly safer is to climb to the very top of the wall and then jump over it, so that you can then dash forward to get over this second wall. And you can also dash diagonally to get over the second wall if you want to be a little safer, but you need to make sure you go forward a little. Dashing forward over this wall is faster. So you're going to want to do that if possible. And then you just want to weave your way through here and land right here. And then again, this is another hyper into the next room, and then a bunny hop at the start of the room. And then you want to dash upright or straight up into the next bubble. So if you dash soon enough, you can dash upright, but it's slightly safer to just go under it and then dash straight up. But after you dash into this bubble, there are 2 strats you can do. There's the safe strat, where you pretty much do it the casual way, where you go up. And you do something like that, where you take the left one at first, and then take the right one, and then while that door is moving down, you're going to want to climb up the right wall and then jump back over. But it's actually possible to wall jump from the right switch and kind of squeeze your way through these spikes to get back to the bubble. So if you do the right switch first, and it's a little bit difficult because you need to get a certain amount of jump height. So if you jump too low, you'll hit these spikes, and if you jump too high, you'll hit the raised spikes. But you saw, I just wall jumped off that wall, and then made it back to the bubble. So you don't even need to climb up that right wall if you time this jump correctly. And some nuances about this jump, some specifics. is that you need to try to get as low as you can on the right wall without touching those spikes. And then when you jump off the wall, you don't want to do a full height jump because that'll make you hit the spikes on the ceiling. And you don't want to do just a very short jump, or else you'll hit the spikes on the floor. So you need to do sort of a medium length jump off the wall in order to get through these. And you're just going to have to practice the amount of time that you have to hold space, as well as get used to trying to go a little lower on that wall. So if you want, you can like fall after coming out of the bubble and then dash forward, and then you can try getting the height that way. Something like that, except I should have jumped a little higher. Or you can just dash right immediately exiting the bubble and then just slide down the right wall. And I find that a little easier because sliding down the right wall means you're falling a little slower than if you were falling right here. You can either fall here and then dash forward, or just dash forward immediately and then do that. And if you do grab the right switch first, you gotta remember, dash up, grab the left switch, and then you want to take this bubble straight down. And depending on if you did the strat where you grab right and then left, you're going to want to either extend a dash jump through here or dash jump onto the top of the door. Because if you hyper, like where I am right now, you'll bump into the door. So you're going to want to either dash jump, land on the door, and then dash jump off of the door, or extended dash jump to go over the door. Like that. And if you do the left switch first, and then the right switch, the door is already going to be all the way down by the time you finish climbing this right wall. In which case you can just extend it hyper and then dash up to here. But you want to land right here so that you can then jump and wave dash off of this platform. And if you time the diagonal dash right, you could just land right on this platform, then hyper into the next room. But you want to either wave dash off here or hyper off here, and then bunny hop at the start of the next room. So I'll wave dash. And then you want to bunny hop and then dash forward to try and land on the left side of this cloud. And then you want to do an extended dash jump off this cloud. And timing the extended dash jump's a little hard because you need to, first of all, you have two things you need to worry about. One, you need to time your jump right to get your dash back. And two, you need to time your jump right to get max height out of this cloud. Because basically you're going to be skipping the second cloud by getting as much distance as possible from the first one. And since I dashed forward, I didn't quite get the distance I needed, but you can see if you do the jumps correctly and get your dash back, you can skip the second cloud. You can also use the first cloud, do an extended dash jump off the second cloud, and then if you time it right, you can dash to the bubble. You can skip either the second or the third cloud. They're pretty much the same, and you can pick which one you find more comfortable. And if you have trouble doing either of those strats, you can just like do it like that. Of course, that is quite a bit slower because you're using all three clouds and you're not doing any dash jumps, but that's kind of the safe way to do it. When you hit this bubble, you're going to want to either take the bubble straight up and then dash up into the next room, or you can actually take the bubble up right from here and then dash straight up. And if you do that, you can do a wall boost on the transition. So if you dash up right, then you can dash up against this wall and then do a transition wall boost like that. And that gives you a little bit of extra starting upward momentum. But the moment you enter this room, you want to do another wall boost, and then you're just going to want to spam neutral jump. And the wind will keep pushing you back into the wall while you're spamming neutral jump. And you can use both of your jump buttons if you want. You can also do up to 4 climbing jumps if you want. I think they're about the same speed, or maybe even slightly faster than the neutral jumps. But just remember, you only have 4 of those climbing jumps. So if you don't neutral jump fast enough, the wind might turn off before you make it to the top. And if that happens to you, you might just want to save those climbing jumps for when the when the wind goes away. But when you enter this room, you want to either like dash straight up and then like land right here, or dash diagonally and then like hop up here. But you want to jump to the corner of this block to activate it, and then like the moment the block starts moving up, you want to just jump and dash straight up to land right here. And then from here you can do a wall boost up to this platform right here. And here is another spike jump, like the one, kind of like the one that you saw in Resort, where you need to jump off that spiked corner right there, like that. And this is a lot easier with 2 jump buttons. So you want to like jump like from right here, jump off the wall, and then jump off the corner. And this is, your positioning doesn't matter too much as long as you jump more or less from the middle of this wall. You'll always be lined up with this wall. Like if you're a little too high, you'll do that. So the most important part is that you have the right rhythm. So this is more about rhythm than positioning. Like you can pretty much start it anywhere on this floor, as long as you jump from the correct spot on the wall. But you're gonna want to practice the timing more so than the positioning, because if you practice the timing and the rhythm, you'll kind of just get it automatically. And after you do the wall jump, you want to dash up. And if you have trouble doing the spike jump, the only real alternative is to take this block all the way around here and then dash up. And I actually dashed up too early, but it's really slow having to take this block around because you have to just wait on it. But if you are really struggling with the spike jump, you can use the block. From here, you want to either immediately dash jump into the next room or jump and then dash parallel to here so that you can do a transition dash jump, or you can just jump and dash jump from right here. So like that, and then you want to grab this wall and then jump up, and then you want to dash. If you do the dash jump from right here, you're gonna have to bunny hop and then dash diagonally to land on this platform. But slightly faster is to do either the transition dash jump or the dash jump off of here that you don't even need to land on this platform. And if you dash straight up from where I am right now, you'll need to do a transition wall boost at the start of the next room. So you're gonna want to dash upright or straight up, parallel to this right wall. And then you want to do two wall boosts. So this first wall boost, and then this second wall boost. And you can get pretty close to those spikes. Like you can practically be touching them because they're smaller than they look. So don't be afraid to go a little further to the left to help line up this wall boost. But if you have trouble getting a wall boost, you can do like you can do like one neutral jump on that wall and then do a wall jump to the other side. Like that, and then hop up, but doing a wall boost is faster. And when you jump up this wall, you may choose to do just like two up jumps or do a neutral jump at the end, which will help line you up a little better with this wall boost right here, because you want to wall boost off of this block. And if you jump straight up, you're going to land right here, which isn't in position to wall boost. But if you neutral jump, you'll land a little further to the left, and then you can wall boost. So you want to line yourself up with this wall boost, and then you want to wall boost off this block to get the first crystal, and then wall boost off the second block. Like this. And then you want to wall boost to land on this corner. And you can grab anywhere on this corner. It's more important that you kind of aim low from here, because if you go too high, like if you get full height out of this wall boost, you'll land on that spike. So you need to slow yourself down a little or fall down a little so that you don't hit this spike. But you want to then climb to the top of this, jump, grab the crystal, grab this right wall, and then just climb up this wall as fast as possible. So you use like both jump buttons for that if you want. For this room, there are a lot of different strats in this room. There's even one strat that skips this block entirely. Like you can pretty much skip the entire Autoscroller, but people pretty much only do that strat in individual level runs because it's extremely difficult, extremely inconsistent. You need to do like a grounded ultra dash and then get a ton of extra distance from like coyote time, which makes it an extremely difficult strat. So most strats people will use this block, and there are a few ways to skip sort of the second half of the room with this block. The easiest one is to take this block, and then you want to use the push from the block to give you a little extra distance from this extended hyper from here, so that you can dash to the end. And there's a little bit of a guide to know when you need to extended hyper from here. Sort of that like short round pink rock on the right. If you're lined up with that and then you do the extended hyper, you'll usually make it to the end. And then you just need to time the upright dash. And then there's also a strat where you do an ultra dash off the block. And this one's a lot harder to do because you need to time this ultra dash really well, like that. And I'm kind of surprised I got on my first try because I don't usually do it. But you need to either like extended hyper, reverse hyper, or wave dash off this block. You need to get it high enough so that first of all you don't accidentally do a wave dash off the lower platform. So you need to get it about this height. It can be a few pixels lower than this, but it can't be too low. And then you either want to wave dash off the block, reverse hyper off the block, or extended hyper off the block. And then you want to do an ultra dash and then do like a kind of short bunny hop. And that'll catapult you to the end of the room really quickly. And the reason why I did the reverse hyper there is because I did the reverse hyper to start a little further left, because if you're too slow with the ultra dash, you'll overshoot this platform and die. So if you have trouble hitting the platform and you keep overshooting it, you might want to do the reverse hyper instead of doing like a forward extended hyper. Doing a forward extended hyper is the hardest way to get far enough to the left. Doing the wave dash is kind of in the middle, and then doing the reverse hyper is the easiest way to start further left on the block. But also, like, doing a reverse hyper into an ultra dash is kind of complicated input wise. Like that's by far the most inputs, the strat with the most inputs that you need to do, because you need to go left, right, down, right, and it just has a lot of buttons involved, and it's probably even harder to do with an analog stick. So if you can do ultras quickly enough, you might just be able to do the extended hyper or wave dash, but you can pick whichever strat you want. And there's also a sort of intermediate strat that I actually find harder than the ultra strat, but a lot of people find kind of in the middle between the extended hyper and the ultra, is to land on this platform as soon as possible, and then you can do a hyper bunny hop from here and then dash diagonally to the end. And that pretty much gives you the same sort of distance as the extended hyper, but you start it sooner, and then you can dash diagonally to the end. And I didn't quite make it because I didn't get enough speed from the hyper bunny hop. And for whatever reason, I personally have a lot of trouble doing the hyper bunny hop version, and I find the ultra strats easier. But the strat I go for is just the extended hyper, because it's extremely consistent, it's really safe, and dying in this room, this is one of the worst rooms to die in Ridge, because it's an auto-scroller. Like, you've already waited like 5 seconds just to get the block into position, and so dying in this room can cost you a lot of time. So this is one of the rooms where you might just want to go for the safest strat possible, because other strats might be too risky. And doing the ultra instead of the extended hyper is like only a second faster, so it's an extremely small distance difference. But regardless of which strat you want to do, you want to either like climb out of the room or land here and then dash up. But you want to get out of the room, and then you want to let the wind push you to the left a little bit here, so that you can do a wave dash and then do an extended hyper off the platform in front of me. The wave dash will actually give you enough height to land on that platform in front of you, even though it doesn't look like it. So you saw the wave dash landed me here, and then I can extended hyper from here. And you'll notice I went too far to the right because I didn't let the wind push me far enough. So you need to let the wind push you left a little at the start of the room so that you have enough room to extended hyper. And if you want to wave dash immediately, you can do quick hyper and then bunny hop off the crumble block and dash straight up. So that is slightly slower. Regardless of what you do, you want to land kind of on the left edge of this platform, so you can like step up if you want, or you can let the wind push you to the back of it. And then you want to extend it hyper off here. Of course, you could also wave dash if you have trouble timing it, but you want to extend it hyper off here. And then if you get enough distance from the extended hyper, you can dash forward into the bubble. But if you want to be safe, you can fall a little bit more and then dash upright into the bubble. Dashing upright into the bubble will pretty much always give you the distance you need. So that's a safe option. But you want to dash upright out of here, and then you can either do a bunch of like just quick climb jumps up here. Remember, you only have 4 of those. Or you can land up right here and then dash up and then hop up. But when you land right here, you want to just hop into this gap, and then you want to fast fall through here, and then you want to wall jump at the bottom and then wall boost off this other wall. And wall boosting will get you into the bubble. And from this bubble, you can either dash forward in the bubble, go upright to land on the platform, and then hyper out. You can dash upright first, and then go forward. Or you can actually go forward twice, and then you get a pretty much... the bubble's at the exact right height you need to corner boost here. So you can do just 2 forward dashes and then corner boost right here. And regardless of what you want to do, you want to dash into this bubble here next. So if you do the corner boost, you might have to do an upright dash. Or you can do a forward dash if you time it right. But if you do the hyper off of there, you can also do either type of dash. And you want to get into this bubble, then you can either go forward and then upright, or upright and then forward that get you to the same spot. And then you want to do 2 jumps up this wall and then wall jump off the right side of it. And I accidentally messed up, but... and if you don't move right enough, you can still land on that spike, so... and then after you dash right from that second bubble, you can wall boost off this left wall if you time it right, or you can just dash upright and then quickly climb up the wall. From here, you want to do... there are pretty much 2 strats. One involves wave dashing to there and then dashing upright onto the cloud. Or you can, and this is a much harder strat, you can dash straight down and then extended hyper, and then somehow you can get enough height from dashing forward just to land on the cloud, but I can't pull that off. I've seen other people do it. But you might want to just dash upright to land on the cloud, because you need to do an extended hyper off this cloud. So it might be easier to dash upright as well, just so you can more easily line up your position on the cloud. And then you want to extended hyper off that cloud. Again, timing your dash can be a little tough, but after you extended hyper, you'll have your dash back, so you can then dash upright to get out. You can get enough height from this extended hyper to dash forward through this gap, but dashing upright pretty much will always get you through it because there's no spikes on the ceiling, so even if you bump against the ceiling, you'll be safe. You want to just like climb up this wall quickly and do 1 wall jump at some point to make sure you get past those spikes. And then you want to land right here. And then if you hyper from far enough left on this platform, you can bunny hop at the start of the next room and ignore the bubble. So if I hyper, I can bunny hop and then ignore the first bubble. If you're too far to the right though, you might miss the platform, or you might accidentally wall jump off the front of this platform, in which case you just do an upright from the bubble and then dash up. But you want to land right here, and then right here you can do a reverse hyper to get your dash back. And then if you dash forward at the right time, you can just grab the right wall. Otherwise, you're going to want to wall jump off the left wall. So if I time this right, you can grab the right wall. Like that. But if you have trouble timing that, because you need to fall pretty low, but you still don't want to touch the spikes, you can just wall jump off the left wall and then climb up the right wall. Like that. And then from here, since you're climbing up the right wall, you're gonna land like right here first, in which case you can try to let the wind push you and then do a wave dash off of here. But doing a wave dash is really hard because you have a really small platform to go off. So if you have trouble doing the wave dash off here, and you'll notice it is really hard because the corner of the wall can mess you up. If you have trouble doing the wave dash, you can instead just do another reverse hyper off of this platform. And then you just want to dash forward into this bubble. And then you can, after dashing up in the bubble, you can do a wall boost off this left wall if you let the wind push you into it. And then there are multiple strats for this room. The 2 main strats are, so there's this easier one where you extended dash jump off this cloud and then dash upright this block. And then you do the rest of the room. But the harder strat involves doing an extremely short hyper bunny hop off of this upward moving platform. And you need to hyper off the left side of the platform and then bunny hop off the right side. So it has to be like the shortest possible hyper. And if you overshoot it, then you might not want to go for it, because I can't get it myself. I'm personally not very good at minimizing the length of my hypers. So I just do the dash jump off the cloud. If you mess that up, there's also a way that you can do a wall jump off of here, and then if you get enough height out of the wall jump, you can dash up to the cloud. But this should only be done as a backup if you mess up the cloud jump. Because if you overshoot the block, it's a little faster to go to the cloud first. If you undershoot with the cloud, then you want to do this. But the cloud jump strat is pretty consistent. So you want to get onto that moving block and then get onto the second one. And if you jump up the second block, the block above me right here, quickly enough, you can get up onto it without it activating. Because if it goes down at all, you're going to want to climb up this wall a little before you wall boost. But if you hop up the block quickly enough, you can get onto it without activating it at all. And I actually wanted to activate the left block, because you want to activate this block, but you don't want to activate that one. But regardless, you want to wall boost off that right wall into the bubble, and then just dash left twice to get here. And then you want to wall boost either off this left corner or this right corner, or this right wall. And then you just want to quickly climb and land here. And then if you want, you can use this block, and then jump off of it, dash diagonally, get to the end. Or there's a strat where you can do 2 wall jumps off these 2 corners, which takes some practice, because first of all, like, even if you get the second jump, you might go too low. But you can do 2 jumps off these corners and then dash to the end like that, which is slightly faster. If you're too low on the second block, like if you end up grabbing near the bottom of the second corner, you won't quite make it to the end. So if you do grab the bottom of the second corner, you have to make sure you climb up it first. But with practice, you can always pretty much land on the top of that second corner and then just jump and dash up right. If you do end up going too low, there is a way that you can like neutral jump and then wall jump to save it. Though it takes a while to get up the right wall, so you might just want to retry and do the strat again, especially if you can't consistently save it, because you're also going to be really low on stamina, so a lot of things can go wrong if you undershoot that dash. But you want to let either wall jump to the end or land on this platform and dash straight up. You want to grab this block right away to activate it. You don't want to dash into it, because when you're in the dash state, you can't activate blocks. If you dash into it, it actually takes a little longer. But you want to activate this block, and then there is a way to skip this block, but it's more or less task only. Like, some people have pulled it off in IL runs, but it takes almost superhuman precision to do. So you're going to want to use this block pretty much all the time. But you want to grab this block, hyper bunny hop, and make sure to activate this block. And then you can just go at whatever pace you want, because you have to wait for this block anyway. But you want to activate this switch before the block gets to the end. And then you can take the block to the very end of the room if you want, and then just dash up. Or if you want to get off of the block a little sooner, you can extended hyper off the block and then dash up to the wall at the end. You can dash jump off the block and then dash up to the wall at the end, or you can extend a dash jump off the block and dash up right to the wall at the end. So, but make sure that if you do the upright dash, you need to be far enough left and high enough so that you don't dash into those spikes. Also, if you extended hyper a little too soon, you might not get far enough to reach this wall. So you can practice those different alternatives to get to this wall right away. And if you have trouble doing any of them, you might just want to take the block to the end, because this is the longest room in Ridge, so you really don't want to die to these spikes on the right. From here, you're going to want to wave dash off the ground and then dash upright to the wall, and then you just want to quickly jump up the wall. And you have enough jumps just to go over it with all up jumps. You can do some neutral jumps if you want to conserve stamina, but that's only necessary for the harder strat. You're going to want to land on either of these crumple blocks. You'll be able to get to the right one if you just keep moving right, and you can actually fast fall even to the right crumple block. And I find fast falling makes it actually more consistent, but you can pick which option helps you land on it more easily. But if you do fast fall, you have to make sure that you're not moving right too much, or else you can hit the wall on the right. But you want to then jump off the crumple block, and then wall jump off this left wall. Or dash up and then wall jump off this left wall. You can also wall boost, but since the wind is pushing against you, it makes the wall boost a little harder to line up, and you might just bonk your head and die. So if you can do the wall boost consistently, go for it, but it's a pretty difficult wall boost to do. But you want to jump up this wall, and then you can dash jump to this platform in front of me, or you can just jump and then wave dash off of it. But you're going to want to hyper into the next room, but you don't want too much momentum or else you'll overshoot the spring in the next room. So you want to land on the spring, and if you do like dash jump and then enter the next room, so if I dash jump, if you hyper too far you can overshoot the spring, but if you wave dash from the previous room you can pretty much just hold jump and you'll land on the spring. The moment after you hit the spring though, you want to dash up and then quickly jump up the right side of this wall and then jump up from the wall. And then if you jump off the top of this wall before the wind stops, it'll push you forward far enough that you can then dash up to this next wall. So I'll do it from entry because it's easier to do from entry. So you saw I got a little boost from the wind. And then from here you want to maybe wait a slight moment so that you get a slightly better cycle from the wind. But you don't want to wait too long because you will need to use the wind at the end of this room. But you're going to want to jump into this bubble, dash upright using the bubble, and then the wind will actually start pushing you left again, and you can use the wind to wall boost off the corner and skip the second bubble. So you want to wall boost off that corner to skip the second bubble and then take this one. And then from here you can dash up twice and the wind will push you right far enough to wall boost off this corner. And I didn't quite get the wall boost because I went too slow, but if you grab the right wall, that's fine. You can just jump up the right wall, just be wary of those spikes. And if you have trouble getting the wall boost, you can use the second bubble if you want. But you'll have to wait out this wind cycle because you have to wait for this wind to turn off so that you can reach the second bubble. So it's a lot slower because you need to wait for the wind to turn off. But the wind will be in just the right place you need to wall boost off that corner if you don't wait at all. So you're going to want to practice that strat. But you want to just quickly jump out of here. And then the moment you enter this room, you're going to want to start doing wave dashes. So you want to do a wave dash, a hyper, and then you want to bunny hop here. And then you want to do, what I do is I do a wave dash, like all the way forward. And then I dash down right into the transition so I can do a wave dash from the transition, which looks like that. And that was an extended hyper for the transition, but that also works. But at the start of this room, you just want to just get out of here as fast as possible. You want to wave dash off that first crumble block to get your dash back, and then you want to wave dash off of this block to try and get your dash back. You won't always get your dash back if you don't get enough distance, but if you don't get your dash back, you can just climb up this wall. If you do get your dash back, you can dash upright first to get higher on the wall and then climb up it, but you don't want to dash straight up because then the wind will push you away from the wall. And you don't want to jump up onto this platform either, because if you jump up from it, the wind will also push you away from the platform. So you just want to step up onto this platform. There's also an alternative where if you line yourself up with the second crumble block, you can actually do a dash jump off it, and the dash jump will give you enough height just to dash upright onto the platform. But that's really hard to do because you need to line up a dash jump with a level platform. And I'm messing up these hypers because I'm trying to improvise, but you can see it's kind of hard to line up a dash jump from that platform. So doing just the 2 wave dashes is easier, or just doing 2 hypers. You don't need your dash at the end because you can just grab the wall. But from here, you can either dash forward or hyper. So you can like hyper. And then in this room, you need to find a strat that's quick enough that you can grab the right side of the block before it gets past the bubble. So I'll show you my strat first. And you also need to make sure you get full height from that cloud. But you saw I went fast enough to get past, to outrun the block and then get onto the right side of it. If you're too slow, you're gonna have to grab the left side, which is slower. So essentially the way it works is you need to dash forward from the right, from like the rightmost edge of the block and then you need to fast fall to the cloud, get full height out of the cloud, and then dash into the bubble. And if you do that all quickly enough, you can make it to the end. Like that, and you saw I just barely made it. Another thing you can do is dash down right into the upper right corner of the block so that you slide along the block to activate it and then slide off of it. And since you get your dash back from that, that also allows you to dash down right to the cloud, which is even faster and gives you more time to get to the other side of the block. So that's what I do. I dash forward into this room so I can wave dash off of here, and then I dash down right into the corner of the block so I can then dash diagonally down right. And you need to make sure you wait a very slight moment so that you slide off the block before you dash down right. Because if you're still on the block when you try to dash down right, it'll turn into a forward dash. But after hitting the bubble, you're gonna want to either climb to the top of the block or to the bottom of the block. And if you climb to the top of the block, you're gonna want to keep moving forward on the block until you're lined up with this, I guess, piece of wood, like the nail in this piece of wood. Maybe that's what it is. It's kind of hard to tell what it is. But you're going to want to dash down right the bubble from here. And I did it too soon, so I hit the spikes. But if you wait and do it at just the right moment, you can do that. And if you climb to the bottom of the block, you can dash forward and then fast fall to the bubble. So, like that. And you're just going to want to use that piece of wood as a guide to when you want to dash. But grabbing the left side or the right side of the block actually saves a lot more time than you'd expect, because if you're grabbing the left side of it, you first of all have to wait for it to move to the very end of the room and hit this wall. So you're making the block travel further forward than you have to. But also, if you're on the left side of the block, you can't dash off of it. If you're on the right side block, you can just use your dash to get to the end quicker. So it saves like a whole 2 seconds or so. So it's a really important strat to learn. But from here, you're gonna want to hyper into the transition and then jump at the transition, and then you want to dash forward to the next platform. So, and this forward dash to the platform, you need to make sure you get full height so that you land on the wooden platform, or else you'll go under it. Like that, and then you want to extend it hyper off the platform and then dash upright to here. If you have trouble consistently landing on the middle platform, you can dash upright, and then if you do dash upright though, you're gonna have to jump over the snowball first to go over it, and then do a wave dash. And I didn't mean to hit the snowball there. You can jump soon enough to go right over the snowball, but it doesn't matter too much. Either go diagonally, jump over, and then wave dash, or just dash forward and immediately hyper. But you're going to want to hyper off of this platform here. And then this room has a ton of strats for it, so I'll show you my strat first. So what I do is after hypering into this room, I hyper off of here, I bunny hop off that platform in front of me, and then I take the bubble. So I dash forward into the bubble, and then when I exit the bubble, I hyper off of here, and then do another hyper off that platform in front of me. And then I dash upright, and then land on this platform, and then I hyper to that next platform, and then take the bubble. And I missed the bubble, but that's essentially most of the strat. Like, there's a little ultra at the end I do as well. And if I ultra, I go under that last snowball. I messed up the ultra a little because I slid across that ground, but the main reason I ultra is to evade the snowball. If I ultra correctly though, I can take that momentum into the next room for a little bit of a skip. But there are other strats for this, like most of the other strats are quite difficult though. Like there's one where you need to do an ultra. And what you need to do is essentially is get enough ultra momentum to land on this platform that I accidentally hit the side of. And then if you slide off that platform, you can actually dash forward to that falling platform in front of me and go under this wall, which, if I can do it correctly. So you saw I got the ultras correctly, but I still wasn't going fast enough to outrun that snowball. So you need to be really good at ultras to get enough speed from them to evade that snowball before it hits you. But you want to either hyper off of this platform right here to get to the end, but you need to get the correct height out of this hyper so you, or you need to be able to wave dash off of that block so that you get your dash back, or you can just go up into the bubble, which is safer. But if you take the bubble, you then want to go upright from the bubble, hyper off this platform, and then ultra out of the room. And then if you ultra, you can bunny hop at the start of this room, and you just want to get full height out of the bunny hop. And you should be able to weave your way between these first two springs and then dash to the third one. And then you want to dash forward to the second spring and then dash into this wall. And then you can jump, if you land too low on this wall, you can jump up the wall once, but you don't want to jump up the top of the wall because the wind is pushing you to the left, and jumping up at the top of the wall will push you off of the wall, which will not only mean that you'll have to climb the block a little more, but it'll actually push you back into the trigger zone for the snowballs. So if you jump up this wall, you'll actually risk getting hit by a snowball that'll kind of just spawn out of nowhere. Like you saw, I jumped up the wall, it pushed me to the right, and a snowball spawned. And even if I did manage to get back onto the platform, I would have just taken that snowball to the face, which would have been really bad. So you want to step up onto this last platform. That. So you just want to step up onto it. And if you're low enough on the wall, you can jump up once and then step up, or you can just climb and step up if you want to play safe. But you want to hyper off here. And I have kind of an unconventional strat for the room that I'll show you first because it's the one I'm comfortable with, but I'll try showing you the more popular strat for the room, which is one that I personally have trouble pulling off. So what I do is I wave dash off of that lower platform and then dash upright onto here. And then I wait for that snowball, so this is for timing, but I wait for that snowball to basically overlap this small platform to the right of me. So I wait till like just a few split seconds after this point. So like I wait till the snowball's just about right here, and then I do a reverse hyper off of here, and then I do a wave dash, and then I dash into the bubble. So just to get the cycle a little better, I'm gonna reset this. And by waiting for that snowball, I set up the snowball cycle so I can go under it here. And then if I dash forward in the bubble, and then after I exit the bubble, I can dash upright, and then the wind will push me back into this corner so I can do a wall jump off of it. So as long as the snowball doesn't screw me over. I can actually do a wall jump off that corner to get onto this platform. And now for the harder strat. So for this harder strat, you need to do a hyper off this platform, and it can be an extended hyper if you want, it doesn't matter. But you need to do hyper off this platform, and then you need to bunny hop off that little corner right there. And that's the hardest part of this strat, because bunny hopping off the corner is a really tiny corner, and you can just end up jumping off the wall instead. But you want to jump off that corner, and then you want to extended dash jump off the next corner, so you can dash forward to this wall. And as you can see, I just wall jumped there because I wasn't far enough to the right. But you can then dash to this wall, and then you can jump up it once and then land on it. And if you're doing this from the entry cycle, you can actually hyper from here and then bonk that snowball right there to get your dash back. But since I'm doing it from the death cycle, I'm not going to be able to hit the snowball. So I'm going to have to do this from the entry cycle to show you. So you saw I hit the snowball, and by hitting the snowball, I get my dash back, which lets me wave dash off this platform. And if I wave dash off this platform, I can then ultra to the next room. But if you miss the snowball, you're going to have to jump up this wall and then make sure you quickly hyper before the next snowball spawns. Snowballs aren't spawning now, so I can show you. You can wave dash off of there and then ultra into this room. And then if you ultra into this room, you can then dash down right into this bubble. Like that, because you have ultra momentum, which means you'll go forward really fast and right into this bubble. If you do my strat though, You're gonna land right here, in which case you just want to do 2 hypers. And then dash forward into the bubble. In this room, you're gonna want to take this bubble forward, take the next bubble forward, and then try to wall boost off this left wall. And when you dash up to wall boost, you don't want to buffer the jump. You actually want to delay the jump slightly so that the wind pushes you far enough left to wall boost. Because if you dash straight up while the wind's pushing you, the wind will actually push you to the left during the dash, which allows you to do a wall boost even if you aren't lined up at the start of the dash. So you want to dash up and then let the wall push you, or let the wind push you left a little so that you can wall boost. But you want to go right in this bubble and then down right into the next bubble. And you can fast fall here if you want. And then from here, you can do like right and then upright, or upright and then right, but you just want to get into the next bubble and then do the same for the next bubble. And then once you go forward from this bubble, if you go far enough forward, you can actually wave dash off the very left tip of this wooden platform. But if you miss the platform, you'll die. So if you want to be safe, there's nothing wrong with just dashing forward here. Like, it almost feels random when you miss that platform because of how tight it is. So if you want to be safe and this barely costs you any time, you can just dash forward and then hyper off of here. But you want to dash forward into this bubble. And then to get to the next bubble, you can either go forward twice, bunny hop off that crumple block to break it, and then dash down right into the next bubble. Like that, and then you can fast fall to the bubble as well. Or a strat you can do is you can actually, you can do wall boosts and wave dashes out of bubbles, and that includes reverse wave dashes. You can reverse wave dash from this bubble to get enough distance to then dash forward into the next bubble. And you can even fast fall a little bit, but you don't want to be fast falling the whole time, or else you won't get enough distance. But you can, it's slightly faster to do the reverse wave dash. And then do that. It's even possible to do an ultra, this second bubble, after this reverse wave dash, if you get pretty much a perfect ultra. But if you don't ultra quickly enough, you will miss this bubble and die. So, you can see I just barely missed it because I'm not, and I got it that time because my ultra was slightly better. But doing the ultra version is really hard, but it is the fastest way to get to this next bubble. Regardless, when you take this bubble, you want to go upright from this bubble, dash up, and then do a wall boost off this wall. And again, you want the wind to push you into the wall so that you can wall boost, because you'll be a little too far right if you try to jump immediately. Like that. And you want to wall boost to the right so that you reach this bubble. If you wall boost straight up, you won't be able to, like, even though I'm like right here, the wind's just too strong for me to wall jump to the bubble. So you need to use the wall boost to get into that bubble. And it'll look like you just barely make it to the bubble because it's pretty tight, but you want to get into this bubble, and then you want to dash up, and then you want to let the wind push you into the wall again so that you can wall boost. That, and then you want to get out. Another alternative, if you have trouble doing that wall boost at the end, is to bunny hop off that cloud. So go forward, bunny hop off the cloud. Don't know what happened right there, but you want to bunny hop the cloud, dash up. You can ignore the second cloud and then dash up into the next bubble. And that's quite a bit slower though, so you can try doing the wall boost if you can. From here though, you basically just want to do lots of hypers because there's a lot of flat ground here. And you want to make sure that you don't, you might want to extended hyper from here to make it, you can like extended hyper from here and then make it all the way to the next platform. Like that. You could also do like a hyper bunny hop and then wave dash off of here if you want. But you want to get enough distance to make it to the next bubble. So I usually like extended hyper right here and then dash forward into the next bubble. And then you want to go forward out of that bubble, dash forward into this bubble, and then you can either go forward in this bubble and then upright to the next bubble, like that, or go upright in the bubble and then dash forward to this bubble. But you actually, you can go upright in this bubble and then dash upright and then start fast falling, but it's slightly faster to go straight up and then go right, because then you won't be quite as high up after the second dash. But you want to fast fall and then wall jump off this wall to get into the next bubble. And then you can actually do 2 forward dashes from this bubble to get to the last bubble, even though it's slightly lower. You'll be close enough to the hitbox of the last bubble to get into it. And then you want to go straight up out of this bubble, ride the wind a little, and then dash upright. And then you want to just quickly jump up that wall. And if you jump up this wall quickly enough, you can get up without activating it, but it doesn't really matter. You'll land on this platform anyway, and then you can hyper out. And then you're going to want to do a hyper at the start of this room, just to get to the cutscene as quickly as possible, and then just skip the cutscene as quickly as possible. And so yeah, Golden Ridge is a relatively short chapter, especially compared to Celestial Resort, the one before, and it's also quite a bit easier than Resort. So with practice, you should be able to get sub 4s in this chapter pretty quickly. Probably make it your ultimate goal to get like sub 310 or maybe even sub 3. Sub 3 is really tight though. Like with most of the strats I did, you still need almost perfect execution. But top runners are able to get like 245s or less. So there's a lot of optimization that can be done in this chapter depending on the strats you use. And there are lots of options for most of the rooms as well. So you're going to have to pick out the ones that are your favorites and just do those. But yeah, that's Ridge, and I'll see you next time for Mirror Temple. Later.